Hey Justin, let's take a look at your week 3 assignment 2 drawing. Perspective is looking really good in both of these objects, and the marker usage I think is working out well in the 2-point perspective. I think in the 1-point perspective though, there's not enough coverage in place. It feels pretty colored pencil intensive, and I think at the very least you need to have more of a marker base coat with a colored pencil on top of it. And I'm not exactly sure why you've treated these kind of so differently. This one obviously has a lot more marker work being rendered within it, but it definitely makes them feel very different from each other, and it makes the 1-point feel a lot more inconsistent than I think it needs to. There's some edge quality issues too. You're obviously having some kind of areas that there's a lot of breakage beyond the line drawing that you've done. And while I appreciate kind of the fluidity and kind of the quickness of the render, I think there are some areas where you need to be really careful even with that fluidity, and edge quality is definitely one of them. I don't so much mind it around here where you have kind of this metallic texture in place, and I actually think it works out really well. And metal is a great kind of texture to deal with loose stroke and having it feel a little bit more fluid. But I think when you're trying to create a structure or an object or an element that feels solid, you got to maintain those edges, because it's going to make it feel asymmetrical, or it's just going to kind of break down that structure. I think texturally, it's working out well. I think you could maybe push it a little bit more. Obviously this one, it needs the marker in place for it to kind of stand out more, so this one I think is definitely in need of it. But here I think I can see you trying to integrate some different colors and some colored pencil, it looks like, but you'll need to, I think, bring it out just a little bit more. I like the coverage here though, and I like the color choices. It's a nice contrast between the darker valued wood and a little bit lighter value of the metallic stuff, which is great. But it does need to be pushed. This feels a little bit too quick, a little bit too loose, and it doesn't feel like it has quite the refinement or the finish that it needs to. The next assignment, you're definitely going to need that finish and refinement. You're going to want an environment in place. You're going to want to have a ground plane dealt with, complete with texture, if there is texture to be had, which there almost always is. An up plane for the wall, cast shadows and how they interact with the environment, and a lighting situation, which I think you have in place here, where it's lighter and this is darker, but you'll want to treat the environment with the same kind of lighting situation. So I think it's a good start, but it definitely feels just like a good start. I don't think that it feels like it's moving quite towards the finished end of things, and you'll definitely want to get in a little bit more marker work, a little bit more time and refinement as you work towards the next assignment.